more money, more focus, more energy, better health and concentration. Wouldn't you want to have that? By listening to or repeating such affirmations, you can basically become a better person. At least, that's what I Am Affirmations promise. So I tried it out and journaled about it. I wanted to find out what I Am Affirmations do to me as a very pragmatic, logical and not spiritual person at all. And listen to them for 30 days. And I can tell it's been a journey and I would have never expected this outcome. So this is my honest experience with I Am Affirmations, the transformational journey I went through and some essential tips that would have saved me so much time and effort, but will help you to get the most out of such affirmations for yourself. Just take a closer look at YouTube or Spotify or even TikTok or Instagram. The internet is full of I Am Affirmations and influencers that make a ton of money basically with simple sentences that a primary school student can think of and repeat, like I am home, I am safe, I am healthy. So I thought, how powerful can those affirmations be if everyone could just grab a mic and drop some lines? Before my experiment, I used to be very critical and questioned the power of such affirmations. I mean, I was even searching the internet a bit to find some scientific evidence that would support the power and effectiveness of affirmations in, I don't know, making you more confident or rich. You see, I was quite skeptical before I started my 30-day journey and thought about the best and the worst thing that could happen. Worst case, I would have wasted 8 hours of my life, assuming listening to affirmations for like 15 minutes or so per day. But best case, I would maybe feel better and have more focus and concentration or energy than ever. So let's see how I eventually ended up. But let's start from the beginning, and as I said, I will be honest. The beginning was hard and I was very much struggling with what I am doing. On day one, I listened to quite a popular video on YouTube whilst cooking in the evening. And surprise, surprise, even after 18 minutes of affirmations, I wondered what they were actually about and what they had actually told me. I could barely remember anything, and not only because it was a bit fast-paced. That was very similar on the following days when I kept listening to the same video, but now whilst doing some mobility exercises after coming home from the gym in the morning. I was still very uncertain about what to do with the affirmations. Repeat? Reflect? Just listen and nothing more? You really don't know at the beginning, but that's okay. You just need to trust the process and listen actively. For sure, you shouldn't do anything else in parallel, at least nothing that requires at least a tiny bit of brain power. Otherwise, you won't have the capacity to truly listen, immerse in the affirmations, and take something away for you. On a positive note, I found some interesting statements at the beginning which I would have never thought of, such as I am healthy and strong. Each system within my body functions perfectly, or my immune system protects my body. I guess you just take those things for granted and do not really consciously think about them, right? So I found that quite insightful, but on the contrary, a lot of the affirmations were way too passive for me, where the universe was called and where I should put my trust in that it can bring me the right people or the good things. To be honest, I really struggled with those statements because, as I said, I'm a very logical and pragmatic person, believing that you need to action to achieve something or meet someone and not just passively wait for the universe to do its magic. But as you'll see later, that the universe has not yet completely let go of me. So I continued, and on day 4, I changed my routine. I started to listen to the affirmations in the evening, just before going to bed. And that was one of the best changes I could have made, which I can only recommend. Listening to affirmations in the evening helped me to better immerse myself into them, wind down after a long day, ground me, and somehow concluded the day with a very good and safe feeling. Even though I still struggled with some of the affirmations, wondering if they help or rather make you stall or reinforce inactivity, I also found that they made me appreciate the little things in life, such as being healthy, having my 5 senses, being able to walk, or having a supportive family and something to eat. Looking back at my journal, I realized that day 5 was the first day I only noted positive things, such as the affirmations being very motivating and giving very tangible advice. It took me almost a week to get along with this new routine and into the flow. Whichever affirmations you try, don't expect him to be life-changing after a few days only. There's so much you need to try out and see what fits you. Which time of the day do you want to listen to the affirmations? Which narrator do you trust and prefer? Which style and topic of affirmations do you want to listen, and also how easy it is for you to let go? I also needed to experiment a bit between day 5 and day 30, so there was still a lot to happen. I stuck with YouTube affirmations for a while, switching videos and narrators, and found them to be okay and quite generic, so regardless of how my day went, I could always take something away from them. At the same time, I found them too generic and way too broad. Because even having just listened to the affirmations for 20 minutes, I felt as if I have covered all of the big life topics such as anxiety, money, health, or self-confidence. So about 10 days into my challenge, I realized I wanted rather specific affirmations to get a lot more out of them. As I said, if you're looking for affirmations, make sure to try out different things, and in particular, think about your specific question or area of interest and get the respective affirmations. Having switched to morning affirmations again for once in between, I realized again how much more powerful the ones in the evening are, and ever since I did not go back. But what I also found after around 10 days of the challenge is the most powerful setup in which I have ever done affirmations. And please don't judge. It's laying on my Shakti mat on the ground, my feet on the couch being covered under a cozy blanket, and then putting some great affirmations on Spotify. For those who don't know what a Shakti mat is, it's an acupressure mat with many small spikes that initially might hurt a bit, but over time help to increase blood flow, to release tension and specific hormones that reduce stress, back pain, or boost recovery. So this position has been the game changer for me because it allowed me to fully focus on the affirmations, doing nothing else whilst truly winding down in the evening. To be frank, in this position I quite often somehow entered into a state of deep relaxation when listening to my affirmations. I felt like a sleep-like state, but still being able to listen and fully comprehend the affirmations. And that really made me feel super good and positive. Now that I had found my spot and my narrator with a good pace and fitting content, I was ready to fully embrace the affirmations. Having been quite helpless at the beginning, not knowing what to do about the affirmations, now it almost came naturally that I was just listening, repeating, and internalizing the statements. On day 12, I journaled that the affirmations were very peaceful and calming and made me realize again how precious life and every day is. I mean, tell me one other super simple method that makes you think like that and perfectly calms you down after a busy day in the office. From reviewing my journal, it becomes quite obvious that I was more and more able to embrace and enjoy the affirmation. Up to a certain degree, I was still struggling with some very passive and deterministic statements, quite often again related to waiting for the support of the universe. Those did not longer distract, but on the same day I had the idea of writing my own affirmations or even recording them. Apparently, in the meantime, I was so convinced and said that everyone has quite individual needs, problems, or wishes for which different affirmations might work. And that's so true, and that was maybe the reason why I was struggling at the beginning when I was starting with those super generic ones. Over time, I had found shorter but more targeted sessions to topics such as health or gratitude, which targeted my own goals a lot more. Having been more than halfway through my 30-day challenge and on a great journey, I got sick. I got quite a heavy fever with limb pain, headache, and all the rest, and I was just laying in bed for about 2 or 3 days. Affirmations don't make you healthy again, but still, they were even more powerful in that situation. On day 18, the first day with fever, I listened to affirmations for health and wrote, "Only once you don't have something anymore, you realize how pressured it is, such as your health." And that's one of the most important lessons that affirmations taught me, going far beyond this experiment. Do not take everything for granted and appreciate even the little things in life, because you will only realize how much you need, value, and love them once they are gone. So on those sick days, the affirmations really helped me to get into a good mood. On day 19, still feverish, I wrote that the affirmations made me forget my fever and pain for the time listening and made me feel very good. This feeling was carried through the rest of my challenge, where I felt every day was a bit more powerful than the previous one, and I found the affirmations to be very calm and helpful, relaxing, cozy, making me very grounded and thankful. On day 29, I wrote, I cannot believe that tomorrow is going to be the last day of my challenge already, but I'm sure I will continue listening to affirmations. And that's what I'm doing and can only recommend. Even though I'm not listening daily anymore, they help me to wind down and realize and appreciate the simple but probably most important things in life. If you want to try out to listen and repeat affirmations on a regular basis, but find it difficult to establish habits, watch this video next, where I will show you 3 simple tips that make any habit stick.